Good evening and welcome to BATV News. I'm Andrew Laidley. Chairman of the Special Economic Zone Authority, Mitri Siaga, says having the authority will help drive more investment in the country. He says the authority is now focused on regulating businesses in the free zones. Mr. Siaga was a guest on BATV's business discussion show On Point last night. Here's more.
Mitri Siaga says one of the authority's first responsibilities is to regulate the 183 free zone businesses that were operating under the repealed Free Zones Act.
Get them in order, make sure that they're doing what they should be doing. The bigger picture, and I guess phase 2 we could call it, is to promote, manage, regulate, and run the entire authority of economic zones in Jamaica. Now we have to build them before we can manage and run them. Okay. And we really don't have them in place.
He says the introduction of the Special Economic Zones regime was as a result of issues the World Trade Organization, WTO, had with the free zones.
The free zone had certain stipulations, which was that you had to export 85% of the work that you did in the free zones. And you got certain benefits for that. The WTO frowned upon that and thought that we were giving special incentives to people who are exporting and selling into other markets. So the government, in their wisdom, decided to move to the Special Economic Zone regime.
Meanwhile, Mr. Siaga says the country will have to start developing clusters of manufacturing companies around which more zones can be built.
At this point, we're trying to stay away as much as we can from standalone special economic zones. Okay. Some of the BPO sectors that fall into that category do fit into standalones, and we'll work with them. But really, the objective is to have areas within which we can develop
like parks.
Clusters. Parks. So that the idea is that if you are manufacturing, let's say this table, the person who is manufacturing the standoffs for the table are located close by.
Right. But he says having the SEZ authority will greatly benefit the growth agenda of the country. He says it could influence how people will invest in Jamaica.
If we develop a world-class authority with good regulations, with reasonable fees, with good benefits to investors, what it will do is it will set a platform for major investors to come in and to develop their businesses. You see, what Jamaica has, Dennis, is location.
For BATV News, I'm Anthony Morgan.
Project coordinator of the Jamaica Venture Capital Program at the Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, Audrey Richards, says with an improvement in the latest benchmark ranking from the Latin American Private Equity and Venture Capital Association, Jamaica's effort in the venture capital market is being recognized. Representatives from the DBJ were also guests on BATV's On Point last night. Here's more.
Audrey Richards says the DBJ's venture capital program is geared at assisting small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, with equity financing.
Jamaica Venture Capital Program is an initiative of the Development Bank of Jamaica, which is focused on creating access to finance for entrepreneurs by developing the ecosystem, the environment for venture capital and private equity in Jamaica. So when you look across more developed countries that have dynamic venture capital and private equity markets, what you find is that there are certain things that are common to these markets, whether it's the taxation environment, whether it's the entrepreneurial activity in the environment.
She says Jamaica has improved on the Latin American Private Equity and Venture Capital Association scorecard. The country is now ranked joint 8th.
They rank 11 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean against 3 more developed countries. Right. The 3 developed countries are with vibrant venture capital ecosystems are the UK, Israel, and Spain. So they rank the Latin American countries against that. This year's scorecard, the last scorecard was done in 2015. And at that point in time, we were ranked 9th out of 11 Latin American countries and Caribbean countries. This new scorecard that was just released, we're now ranked a joint 8th.
She says while the aim is to have the country in the top 3, Jamaica is currently one of 2 from the Caribbean that are ranked on the scorecard, the other being the Dominican Republic, ranked at number 9.
Okay. So we have actually improved our ranking. Our actual score has actually moved from a score of 46, with 100 being the highest, with the more developed countries being in the high 90s. And we have moved from 46 to 51. So we have actually improved on a number of different metrics. So the work that we've been doing has actually been recognized.
For BATV News, I'm Anthony Morgan.
Jamaica is now a signatory to the agreement establishing the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. Prime Minister Andrew Holness signed the agreement yesterday ahead of the start of the final day of discussions at the 38th regular meeting of CARICOM Heads of Government in Grenada. The CCREEE is designed to address the implementation deficit in CARICOM's sustainable energy sector and to support or coordinate the execution of the regional renewable energy and energy efficient projects. The center will be headquartered in Barbados. The government says with the introduction of renewable energy solutions, Jamaicans can expect to see microeconomic decisions manifest in the microeconomy. The government says the signing is important as it is actively seeking to attract renewable energy solutions in the order to diversify the energy sector. And still to come, BOJ releases its inflation expectations. We'll share those numbers after the break. Welcome back. Bank of Jamaica BOJ has released its latest inflation expectations based on a survey conducted between April 29 and May 19, 2017. Here are the numbers.
The BOJ's May 2017 survey indicated an expected inflation of 2.0% for the 2017 calendar year. This was just below the 2.3% recorded in the previous survey. The central bank further notes that this expectation was also below the actual annual point-to-point inflation of 4.6% for May 2017. Meanwhile, the perception of inflation control improved marginally in the May 2017 survey relative to the previous survey. The data indicates that businesses' perception of the bank's control of inflation improved in May. Specifically, the index of inflation control grew by 270.4 in the current survey from 267.8 in the previous survey. The BOJ says this was largely due to an increase in the proportion of respondents who were satisfied and a small decrease in proportion that were dissatisfied. According to the BOJ, respondents increased their expectations about the pace of depreciation over all 3 time horizons, although majority of respondents believed that the bank's open market operations OMO rate will remain the same over the next 3 months. The figures show that both the index of present business conditions and the index of future business conditions improved. Both indices remained on an upward trend. In the meantime, the present business conditions index rose to 212.5 from 205.2 in the previous survey, while the index of future business conditions increased to 161.1 from 157.9 attained in the previous survey.
The world's largest professional accountancy body, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, and the Council of Community Colleges of Jamaica, CCCJ, have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to collaborate and to develop the profession in Jamaica. The MOU was signed during the CCCJ's 15th annual conference, which was held recently. Executive Director of the CCCJ, Dr. Donna Powell-Wilson, says that over the years, community colleges have been forging partnerships with professional bodies for certification aligned to programs they offer. Dr. Powell-Wilson explained that under the MOU, Students pursuing an associate in business studies will be provided with the opportunity to register for the ACCA professional qualification, while those pursuing a bachelor in business studies in accounting major can get up to 5 exemptions and also register with ACCA at significantly discounted rates. Meanwhile, ACCA Business Development Manager with responsibility for Jamaica, Maria Sugdeo, said she was delighted to sign the MOU to further enhance relationships with key stakeholders like the CCCJ. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says if things continue the way they are now, the country will record its highest number of tourist arrivals in history by year end. He says this is coupled with record earnings, which the sector is already set to surpass. Here's more.
We are expecting that we will end the year at over 4 million visitors, which will be the first time in our history that we would have had 4 million visitors in 1 year.
Minister Bartlett says as it stands now, tourism earnings are greater than arrivals, which he says is a true indication that the sector is booming.
The tourism sector earned, and a lot of people are interested in that, $1.46 billion in the last 6 months, and at a rate of 7.5% increase over last year. And this is phenomenal, because most countries have tourism earnings lagging behind tourism arrival.
The tourism minister says the success so far is attributable to the quality of service which is offered within the sector.
Jamaica is one of the few countries in the world where our arrival is lagging behind, and in this case 2-to-1 to our earnings. And that augurs well for the quality of the service and the quality of the experience that we are offering, and it tells us that we are on a strong footing to great growth and to have success.
In the meantime, Minister Bartlett says he's putting plans in place to ensure that more Jamaicans within and around the tourist areas benefit from the business.
My ministry is putting in place initiatives to widen the net of people benefiting from the industry in terms of ownership and employment. In this way, we are creating a more inclusive industry, better able to help with poverty alleviation and realize sustainable growth.
The Sugar Association of the Caribbean, SAC, in its most recent crop data report, has revealed that out-of-season rain has adversely affected the 2016-17 reaping period and has delayed production in Jamaica and Guyana. However, the SAC says it expects both countries to finish reaping by the end of July and should have more favorable results for the remainder of the crop. The members of the SAC are Jamaica, Guyana, Barbados, and Belize, and the most recent data covers production for the month of May 2017. During that month, Caribbean Sugar Industries produced a total of 30,345 tons of sugar. The production was led by Belize with 20,643 tons, followed by Guyana with 5,305 tons, and Jamaica with 4,487 tons. At the end of May, the cumulative regional production for the 2016-17 crop was 275,000 tons, with total exports at 260,524 tons. Most of this export went to the European Union, then to the United States and other CARICOM markets. And stay with us, regional and international stories are next. Welcome back. It's time now for regional and international news. The Guyana government has reported that tax revenues are down, rejecting claims that it's cashing in on recent tax increases on water and electricity. Business leaders have complained about the increase in their operational costs, but Finance Minister Winston Jordan has suggested that the government has been the main loser. Speaking at a recent dinner hosted by the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association, Mr. Jordan said up to May 31, this year's revenue from the value-added tax was down by 1.8 billion Guyanese dollar when compared to 2016, and income tax had fallen by 1.2 billion Guyanese dollars compared to the same 2016 figure. Mr. Jordan explained that the Treasury had managed to stay afloat because of the Revenue Authority had collected more arrears in recent months. Meanwhile, he chided the business sector for complaining about the new taxes on utilities, charging that some of them were yet to make payments. The finance minister urged Guyanese to stop the romanticism with certain things, such as the sugar industry and hydroelectricity, as well as anecdotes such as the impact of taxation on the private sector. Tech giant Samsung estimates a record quarterly operating profit for April to June, fueled by a memory chip boom that could set the company up for its best ever year of earnings. Ryan Brooks reports.
A record-breaking second quarter on the cards for Samsung. The tech giant expecting a 72% on-year jump thanks to a growing demand for memory chips capable of powering complex cloud servers and smartphones. Samsung estimates operating profit to June was $12 billion, beating analyst predictions. It's another stellar report card for the company that boosts expectations Samsung's 2017 earnings will be the best ever, thanks to both the chips and a new cash cow, flexible next-generation OLED panels. The company's likely to sell those to Apple next month for use in the next iPhone this fall. Samsung said this week it would invest $18 billion in South Korea to keep the lead in chips and screens, a move that promises to create 500,000 jobs. That announcement seemed targeted towards investor worries big decisions were on the back burner, while de facto leader J.Y. Lee faces bribery charges in court. And Samsung's newest smartphone model comes next quarter. All eyes will be on the Galaxy Note 8's success after last year's model was recalled over batteries prone to catch fire.
Paris's landmark hotel De Crillon reopened after a 4-year, €200 million revamp. As Sonia Legg reports, it's hoping to catch a rebound in its luxury hotel trade after a wave of bloody street attacks drove away big-buying tourists.
Its guests have included Bill Clinton and Madonna, but exclusivity didn't protect the Hotel de Crillon. A wave of street attacks in France drove away big-paying tourists, and 4 years ago the hotel was closed. This week it reopened after a €200 million facelift.
It's a new image for sure. I mean, we reduced the inventory. The room number has been dropped from 147 to 124, and also a men's grooming. So you will have a barber, you will have also a shoe shine section dedicated to the men's.
The Paris hotel is owned by a Saudi prince and run by New World Group's Rosewood Hotels. It was built in 1758 and is hoping to join a select group of 23 luxury French hotels able to call themselves palaces. Wealthy tourists from the United States, the Middle East and Asia are the target, and prices start from €1,200 a night, rising to €25,000 for the top floor suite.
So we're going to have our own butler service, taking care of you from the moment you do your booking through your stay with us. Also, we have our own car float, so with our own drivers. So that's also something very new. The idea is to make it really, personalized and have a real Parisian sense of service, the French service à la française.
Industry data suggests tourism in the French capital is recovering after heavy falls in late 2015 and much of 2016. But some experts think it could be 5 years before trade returns to normal levels.
Authorities in Hong Kong made their largest haul of contraband ivory in more than 30 years amid surging illegal wildlife seizures fueled by lax regulations and buoyant demand from mainland China. Samantha Vadas reports.
More than 7 tons of ivory tusks seized in Hong Kong, a pile of contraband with a $9 million price tag. Customs officers showing off the goods, their biggest haul of the illegal material in more than 30 years. The ivory was found in a 40-foot container from Malaysia, stashed beneath a cargo of frozen fish. The tusks are thought to have been taken from about 720 elephants. City authorities looking into where the ivory was headed, most likely nearby countries. Hong Kong is one of the world's top global transit hubs for endangered species and their products, and has lagged behind other countries in adopting tougher rules. It's also got the largest retail market for ivory, crafting it into jewellery and sculptures to sell mostly to mainland buyers. China, Singapore and the United States have all banned ivory trade, but Hong Kong's not likely to see that until 2021.
Talking Stocks is after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's time now for Talking Stocks. 47 stocks traded today, of which 11 advanced, 31 declined, and 5 traded firm. The main JSE index declined by 4,744 points to close at 231,638 points. The junior index also declined by 68 points to close at 3,064 points. Over 5 million units traded, valued at more than $87 million on the Jamaican dollar market. And on the US dollar market, over 832 million units traded, valued at more than 188,000 US dollars. Proven investments with over 1 million units changing hands accounted for 24% of the market volume. Jetcon Corporation was second with over 346,000 units trading. JMMB with over 671,000 units accounted for 11% of the market volume, crossing the floor. Kingston Properties was the top advancer, up 84 cents to close at $1.84, followed by JMMB Group, up 11 cents to close at $1.96, and JMMB up 6 cents to close at $1.55. The main decliners were CAC 2000, losing $1.43 to close at $6.67, followed by Pulse Investments, down 65 cents to close at $3.11. And Berger Paints down $1.78 to close at $14.97. And that's all the news we have for this evening. But before we go, a recap of our top story. Chairman of the Special Economic Zone Authority, Mitri Siaga, says having the authority will help drive more investment in the country. He says the authority is now focused on regulating businesses in the free zones. Thanks for watching. For more content, visit our website at batvja.com. I'm Andrew Laidley. Pleasant viewing.